love the topic that we are discussing today. You know how exciting it is to moving in together. But as with everything in life, really, there are pros and cons. And today we are talking about those. Hi, hello, I'm Catz. If you're new here, feel very welcome. I make videos every week, and over here we love chatting about all things life. So let's go on with today's video. Like everything in life, there are pros and cons of moving in together, and I will jump right in and start with the cons. First of all, you will be sharing a room. You know, when you are a teenager, that moment when you have a room to yourself, it's like, and when you move in together, you can have a room to yourself, but usually you will share your room with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. It can be a pro, of course, but I'm putting it in the con list because I think people don't really think about that much. You will not have your space, your private space anymore. You won't be solo responsible for the decoration of your room, for example. You will have to compromise with your significant other. You don't have to, but for me, I feel like it is very beneficial for us to go to sleep at the same time. If I go to sleep earlier, I cannot fall asleep until my boyfriend is also in the bed with me. Second con is the so-called honeymoon phase. I mean, for me, it was not a honeymoon phase. It's more like an adaptation phase. You will have to learn to live with each other. You have different routines. You will know parts of the person that you did not know before. It will be a little bit, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but it will be new. And there is an adaptation phase that is not all butterflies and unicorns like in movies. Third con is that you will start sharing responsibilities. Before moving in together, you are dating, everything is fun and games. You don't have responsibilities in common. From the moment you move in together, you have bills to pay, rent to pay, groceries to buy. You have to do your taxes together. If there's some machine in your house that is broken, you have to handle that. A lot of stuff. You start sharing responsibilities that you did not share before. That can create a bit of stress. It's basically a new factor that was not present before. You will have to change your personal routines. You have your routines already, whether in terms of meals or in terms of your hobbies, what you do with your free time, when you go to sleep, when you wake up. I mean, it's normal. I'm putting it as a con. The cons in this list are not so much cons, but little obstacles that you might not think about before moving in with that person, and that if you are not prepared for them, they can create some tension. And if you are a person that gives a lot of importance to your routines, that can be a con. For me, for example, I have to be alone to write in my journal, and I used to do that before bed. Now, when we first moved in together, I spent ages without writing in my journal because we were going to bed at the same time, so I did not have that alone time before going to sleep. So I had to find another way to write in my journal. I have to be honest with you, even after 3 years, I am not writing as often as I was before because almost all my life, I always wrote in my journal in bed before going to sleep. And so after all this time, I was not yet able to create a new routine in that sense. So to get back your routines, you will probably have to sit and think about it. When can I do this? The last con I have for you guys is about money. If you work, if you are independent, you live alone or even with your parents, probably you make your own decisions about money. You buy what you want to buy, when you want to buy, right? Probably. From the moment you start living with someone else, sharing bills, decisions about money will be made together. Every couple is a couple, and every couple, deals with money in a different way. But generally speaking, before spending a lot of money in an item, you will have to speak with the other person. And I'm not talking about asking for permission. It's just natural that those decisions are made together because it is a big part of your budget that you are putting to anything, really. I mean, you can still use your money without talking with the other person. Like, you can go and buy a pair of jeans without having to call.
Look, I want to buy a pair of jeans. Do you think we should spend that kind of money?
I'm not talking about those expenses. I'm talking about big investments, like if you want to buy a computer, a car, a bike, you know, something expensive. Those decisions are to be made as a couple. And that can be a con if you are used to do what you want when you want without having to ask for anyone's opinion. You will have to learn how to do that, you know, because you are living together, you are sharing expenses, and yeah, it's an adaptation. Now, for the pros, I think they are a bit more obvious, and before we move in together, we are basically thinking about this. So, the first pro is that you get to spend more time together. That's obvious. I mean, for me, it is one of the best things of having moved in with my boyfriend is that we spend so much more time together. It is really fantastic. When we were dating for the last years, for example, with him in college and I was working, we could spend almost an entire week without seeing each other. God bless the internet. You know, life happens and you might end up not seeing your favorite person in the world for a week. Second pro is that you get to know each other on a deeper level. You will know parts of your significant other that you did not know before. It is inevitable. You know, you will be spending every single day with that person. You will see the ups and downs in ways that you did not see before. You will have more conversations. You will know not just on a deeper level, but you will get to know new aspects of your significant other that you did not before. Some things you can just learn about a person if you live with them. Otherwise, you don't. And that is really interesting. It's really funny to uncover. And I think it is very good for the relationship to get to know the person you love on a deeper level. The third pro is that you get to live in a kind of world where you belong. You know that Beach Boys song, "Wouldn't it be nice if we were older?" You know? And wouldn't it be nice to live together in a kind of world where we belong? Something like that. And you know, it's true. When you are living with the person you love, you are home. And you feel like you are creating your own little world, the two of you, inside your home. And it's lovely. The next pro is that it is fun. Simple as that. You are living with your best friend. I hope that your significant other is your best friend, or at least is in the top 3. You get to have dinner and watch movies together, play games, have conversations, singing, dancing, you know, other things. It's really fun to live with the person you love. The next pro, it really depends of the context of your living situation before moving in together. If you already had your own apartment, at least one of you had, this does not apply. But if you were still living with your parents, your siblings, a housemate, whatever, this is huge, which is privacy. You will finally have some privacy. It's a big pro, really, to be able to have your common space, just the two of you, without anyone else. It's very good for your relationship. It adds up to all the previous pros that I talked about in this video. For everything, really, whether we are talking about intimacy or about having a romantic dinner, having lunch, watching a movie, for you to be able to have a conversation, knowing that no one is hearing, to be yourselves, you know, your authentic selves. And yeah, this is it. We've reached the end of our list of pros and cons of moving in together. Let me know in the comment section below, are you thinking about moving in with your significant other? And if you already move in with your boyfriend, tell me if you could relate. What do you think was the biggest pro for you and the biggest con, and how did you handle it? Overall, for me, it is totally worth it. The cons are just part of life, and it makes sense, you know. You are moving in with someone else, you will have to adapt, you will have to learn how to live together. But if you really love one another, if you have a healthy relationship, you will get through that weird adaptation phase and everything will be awesome after. I mean, not everything will be awesome. You will have your issues, it's normal, but it will be totally worth it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next week. Bye!